Hi guys, Katie here. Do you remember the COVID pandemic? I'm sure that you do. Well, during that time, I thankfully got a chance to write a whole bunch of poetry, and one of the poems that came out of it was called Supernormal. Have a little watch, but stick around to the end to find out what my supernormal actually looked like. So, can I say something bold? If, after all of this, things go back to normal, I don't think I want to know if, after all of this, things roll back to the uniform and it's all same old, same old. I just don't want to know. You know how the story goes, where disaster is the catalyst to fear, and our soul's master reactionist atmosphere is a cancer of antagonistic ideas that set out to demolish all hope that he is bigger than all of this. Because, folks, he really is bigger than all of this. In the midst of uncertainty, his truth has, is, and always will be certain to set and keep you free, if you believe. His death and resurrection, a forever hug into the eternity that began as soon as you said, "Yes, Jesus, I believe." But why do we stop there, church? Why stop at salvation or the gifts or the miracles or all the wonders of creation? How many PowerPoint presentations, 5 steps to restoration, meetings of liberation or prophetic messages to the nations do we need before we stop already, before we lift up our eyes and throw our faces up into the sun and see the heavenlies? Bask in his presence, in the unseen, sup with the angels, dance to heaven's heartbeat, be wrapped up in the cosmic rhythm of belief in this season, church. Would you dare to receive the realities of his love, benefits far beyond your wildest dreams? Would you speak up where you were silent? Be quiet where you were crying, and stop relying on the revelation of others to guide you and see that it's you who's his dwelling place. He lives inside you. Imagine, worldwide, he is glorified and magnified and amplified by his bride, and together we are caught up in the mysteries he provides. Guys, this lockdown has helped me to realise that to go back to normal would be to identify with a lie. And so I propose we go forward to the supernormal. But how do we start? Well, church, that is up to you to decide. How do we start? You start by deciding to start and deciding not to stay the same. And I think it's funny because the things that I considered supernormal then are not necessarily, you have this idea of stuff, it's not necessarily what they turned out to be, at least for me, like my individual supernormal then. And what happened for me during the pandemic and even up to now is God has been rooting out kind of things that were holding me back because they were holding the voice of the Lord back. So, idols, strongholds, things in our life. And I thought it would be this just pizzazz of something, but it wasn't. It wasn't the new normal. Things didn't go back to normal, thankfully. But for me, it was like this extraordinary ordinariness of life where I became a mother, which, if you are one, 2 days are never the same. So there's something supernormal about that. God has been speaking to me about being busy in the home, loving my husband, serving my family. Who would have thought that those very ordinary things would be considered? They are radical in this world today, unfortunately. And I think in doing that, if you can do that in your individual lives with your individual supernormals, then well, that in turn blesses the church, doesn't it? So the question was, for the church, how does it look like? But it has to start in us first. It had to start in me first. So if I'm building up my family, if I'm serving my family, if I'm where I need to be present in my home, that does amazing things for the church and for the wider community, I think. And that's where I am at the moment. But I don't know, over to you. What did your supernormal look like?